So I left off with coroners. I ended up writing a letter to the coroners saying exactly what I had said, that his father had seen him and we haven't heard from him since March 1st, and that we were worried that he walked into the ocean and that we were never going to see him, and do they have any unidentified bodies, because David lost his ID. He had no ID. He had no electronics because everything had GPS and was tracking him, and he had to get rid of everything, and it's been really crazy. So and I wrote to him also saying that Dave had an experience that wasn't quite what we expected, and it changed him. That's his business, so I'm not going to get into it online like this because that's a little too personal. But I will say that it's very shocking, but yet not much is really shocking me these days with Dave. So, anyways, so I wrote to all 39 coroners. I got an immediate response from one saying that there was no unidentified people. 4 more wrote to me by the next morning. And I had already driven into work then, and I was getting these emails. And then as I was leaving work, I actually had one of the coroners call me, knocked me right down. I was walking out to my car, and I was on the lawn. I was sitting on the lawn just a rock, because an email at least tells me that he's not there, but a phone call, that means that there could be really bad news. Luckily, it was the coroner from Spokane, Washington, and she was absolutely helpful. She told me that I did need to file a police report, and part of the reason why I didn't want to file the police report is because Dave is paranoid, and I don't want the cops to be around him and make him uncomfortable. So I just wanted to know if there was any unidentified remains, and if there was anything I could do to see if they were my son. And she ends up telling me about NAMUS, NAMUS.org, I believe, or .gov. It's the national database for missing persons and unidentified remains. And you have to have a police report first in order to put anybody into that. So I started on a police report, and that's when I had to contact the last person that had seen him in Bellingham, Washington. And his friend was very helpful. I had talked to Dave's ex-girlfriends and his cousin in order to get as much information as I could, and I just needed something more recent. So I ended up where I contacted his friend, and they gave me the information I needed to say that it's still the same. Like, Dave doesn't have any tattoos or anything like that. And I put him on NAMUS, and it was about a week later when I heard back from Bellingham, Washington, that they were taking David off of missing persons because he had been found by the Port Harbor Police in San Diego. And I'm like, San Diego? Are you kidding me? He was just in Washington in March. How did he get to San Diego? But we're talking about a transient person here who's rode his bike from New York to Ohio, so what's walking the coast, right? So they canceled this, and he was spotted August 22nd, and August 23rd is when they called me. August 24th, Fritz and I were told that we needed to move because of the landlord saying something about too many people and yada yada. Anyways, so we were planning on moving anyways. And as I had mentioned, Fritz has been talking to his cousin Deborah Sue, out here in California, and had been doing that since right after the holidays. And we had been talking about how I needed to come out here, and I had just gotten my resume redone, and I sent it over to her because she's a business owner. Here, take a look at it. Does it look okay? And by the time we actually talked and told her what was going on, she's like, well, maybe you guys need to come out here because Jill's qualified and I could hire her. So we started talking about it, and I was really excited because this way, sometimes one door closes so another one opens, and it's for a new experience, and I'm all about that. So coming across the country was definitely an option. And then finding out that she's an hour north of LA and 4 hours from San Diego, this is a no-brainer. I could possibly find my son if we go over there. So we made arrangements to do a Rockstar weekend, the weekend of September 21st, because that was little Juliet's birthday, and we were here for that. We came in, we had an absolutely fabulous time, got along great, talked about all kinds of things, and decided that October 1st we were going to drive back. And the reason why we were driving is because of my cat, who is right there behind me in that cool car, that carrier there. So we did it on a wing and a prayer, and we loaded up everything into storage units in New York at Antique World. Hint, 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 you'll need to come visit me. And we loaded up a caravan and had just enough stuff to make sure that we had the minimum, and drove across country, and we moved in here into a fifth wheel trailer. Little crazy because the prices out here are just absolutely insane. I don't recommend living in California, not to anybody who's from the East Coast, because you're going to get over here and be like, you are out of your mind if you think I'm going to pay this kind of money for what I'm getting. But you do if you want to live here. So like I said, we came over here. We left October 2nd. We got here on October 7th. October 6th. And by October 8th, which was a Monday, we were ready to work. So it was that quick. We weren't playing around. And the whole time that we came across the country, Fritz and I discussed about the idea that we weren't going to go look for Dave until I was trained, so that this way at least I had my job and we could find Dave and we could do this, this way we could still afford to survive and try to find him. So started getting trained. The holidays, we were here for the crazy wildfires here, the Woodsley fire, and watching Malibu and Paradise and all that burn. We could actually see that from our front door. Scary. I can handle snow. You can move snow. You can't move a fire. At least not that kind. So that was like really overwhelming. And then the holidays came, and when Christmas hit, I was a mess. I just, all I wanted to do was go find Dave. So between Christmas and New Year, we decided we were going to rent a car and we were going to go find Dave. So let me come back after this and tell you a little bit about our search for Dave.